Yeah, that works.
If we show to track with buttons, you might kill us. Okay, wait, we got press button 6. Oh no, shit.
Hello? Is that too close for me? Hello? Yeah, because I don't want everyone to like hear my every breath that I take, you know? I feel like that's too close to my mouth, because it's like ASMR. Say a word that's hot. Yeah, I feel like that's just too close. Anyway, hello and welcome to UA Yappy Yahoo! We are, sorry, I don't really know where I was going. We are at Quora, I want to say. So yay, any votes that we make today will be approved. Only things I got to tell you are we are filming, and if you haven't noticed, so if you don't want to be filmed, stay at the edges of the room. And also, Christina will be running around with a microphone for if you want to put your hand up, and then she'll cover your microphone if you want to make a point or anything. Cool. Proxies and apologies. We have apologies from Liz, the education officer, and Neve, and we've got Niall here for Jess, proxy. Hello, hello. We've got Ben here, who's a long-standing one for Neve. They're not here. Oh, we'll be sad then. We've got Shamila, who's here for Erica. No, we do not. Cool. Only one proxy. Good for you, Niall. Cool. Oh yeah, and also, so for item 3, Mizpah has been given 3:45 to come down, because obviously they're very busy and stuff. So if things get moved around on the fly, that'll be why, just because I'll make sure that Mizpah can be here for that. Cool. Is that everything I need to say, Frank? It's not the same. Sorry, just the minutes, yeah, I'll get you on to that. Okay, cool. Agenda item 1, the minutes from last time's meeting held on the 3rd of February. Does anyone have any comments, changes they want to make, anything they're unhappy with? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Sick. Cool. Oh, right, okay, so we're moving on to agenda 2, the FTO report. Rory, if you talk for more than 10 minutes, you're getting sent outside. Like, genuinely. 7. Yeah. Okay, everyone stop putting your hand up when you get bored of Rory talking, and then we'll all know. Cool, group. Rough. Okay, cool. Here's your FTO team.
Even the microphone doesn't want me to go there again.
Hello. I guess I'll...
Which laptop are we doing it from this one?
Cool. I will be quick, I promise, because the Vice-Chancellor's not here today. So I trust you've read my paper, so I won't go into too much detail. Rent control, I was going to put out an article yesterday and some comms on social media, but our media lawyer picked it apart and basically said that's a load of confidential information that you're not allowed to share with the wider public. So we're trying again, and an article will go out at some point talking about the price of rent on campus and how it is impacting students, but kind of your headlines are, since 2022, the price of rent on campus has gone up by 32.3%, while the average maintenance loan that a student receives has only gone up by probably about 6% in that same amount of time. And that's not very good. That's not very good at all. So we need to do something about that. Town safety, Leah's been working on that, and I will hand over to Leah later to talk about that. Policy transparency and accessibility, everyone wave at the camera. You've all been receiving my updates every Friday, and I'm sure you're all bored of them by now, and you skim past. But thank you to those of you who like to leave a reaction on it, particularly David. I enjoy your little emojis that you send my way. Make colleges live up to the hype. To be honest, I haven't really changed this presentation since the last time. LU Future and college redesign. LU Future, the university has scrapped the badge of LU Future, in the Vice-Chancellor's word. It was toxic. So they're just carrying on with the idea of LU Future, but they've not given it a super cool Star Wars name anymore. And college redesign, some sessions were run earlier this term for student engagement into what college redesign will look like. The university is now producing some project plans for all of the professional service redesigns, including college redesign and like the sports program that they put on, and student wellbeing and student-facing services. Those project plans will have student consultation in them and a description of what that looks like, which is way better than what we've ever had before. My main question is, why weren't there project plans in the first place? But at least they're being made now. The membership fee, before the end of term, I will be putting out something about college membership fees. We still don't know where that goes, and it seems neither do the university. So we would like to blow that up out of the water. You know, which of you would ever go to a shop, pay 40 quid and kind of say, I trust you to do with that as you will, rather than kind of paying 40 quid for something that you know where it's going. College bars and extras, I actually don't have anything to say on those two. Those are just left over from the last slides. How am I doing for time, Carrie?
3 minutes.
Banging. Okay, LU Future, Industrial Action, as I say, LU Future, the badge has been disbanded. The university's taken all compulsory redundancies off the table for the rest of this academic year, which is only about 3 months. So the UCU are a bit like, what the hell, guys? And they are, as of a meeting that I had with them last week with Leah in the room, they said they're reballoting to strike on the fact that compulsory redundancies are only off the table for the rest of this academic year and not further future. And also, this is kind of dipping my toe into Liz's territory, PGR spaces, the UCU aren't happy about the health and safety implications of Boland Annex and the PGR hub up there. And they are looking to reballot to strike over the conditions that PGR students and staff are being put into, having been forcefully removed from their offices and tucked away into kind of a top corner of campus. Car parking, I actually don't know what I was going to say on that, I think it's all in the paper. Buses and bikes, it's been very slow getting a response from the university about that. I chased that this morning, it seems like I only just reminded them that that was something that they'd committed to working on, so we're going to get somewhere with that, hopefully. Circuit laundry. The National Union of Students are running a campaign called Circuit Laundry Stinks. Currently, it is a secret campaign, which is a bit annoying. You have to follow a specific QR code to find the petition on their website. We currently have that QR code on one piece of paper that they gave us at the Northwest Campaign Day the other day. That's in our office at the moment with the QR code on. So I will try and share that link around for people to sign a thing, which is basically the NUS are not happy about the monopoly that Circuit Laundry have over laundry on campuses around the country, and they would like to break up that monopoly and break up Circuit Laundry's power over the market. And we're broadly supportive. We're not too supportive of the means that they want us to go to force this through, especially without them doing a big public sort of top first campaign. They're kind of wanting us to throw a bunch of dirty laundry in the Vice-Chancellor's office. I think if I tried to get into D floor with a big laundry basket, they probably wouldn't let me up. But we can find out other ways to do a bit of a stunt around that, just to get people talking. Student poverty is in my paper, and I'll go on to it with the NUS Lobby Day as well. Student engagement, that seemed to be a big topic that LA1 TV were asking a lot about in their interviews for presidential candidates in the elections. That's something that we are working on. I'm keen to hear that, or pleased to hear that candidates were all interested in continuing the work, because it looks like the student engagement framework will not be completed in my term. So I would like to hand that baton over to my replacements to make sure that it does get pushed through and it looks like what we want it to look like. And the NUS Lobby Day, Leah and I tomorrow are getting a 6:30 a.m. train down to London to go to Parliament to lobby MPs on student debt and the changes that Rachel Reeves has made to the tuition fee agreement. And then we'll be going to an all-party parliamentary group in the evening to talk more about student debt with a wider group of student representatives and MPs on that. And then we'll be back in Lancaster by 11:30 tomorrow night. You'll be wondering, blimey, that sounds like an expensive train bill. Thankfully, I convinced the NUS to pay, so that saves us a bit of money. And then the last thing, which isn't on my slides, is it was elections last week. For those of you who didn't notice, I can see, I think, 3 candidates or 3 people in the room that will be taking our jobs. I say taking our jobs. Emily will be staying in her job, and I can see a few people in this room that also ran in the election. I just want to congratulate everyone who went through the kind of the rigmarole of that. It's not a fun week. But you should all be very proud of yourself for putting yourself through it. And well done, Kate, for taking the poison chalice, which is president. And well done, David, for taking Leah's role. And well done, Neve, who's not here, for getting Liz's role. That's it from me. How am I for time?
You're on 7 minutes 45, 40 seconds.
Fantastic. I'm going to hand over to, I don't know who it is.
So you're going to stay there, so we can sit down and you can clap.
Right.
Thank you, Rory. Hello. Is this Matt? Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm not going to speak for long because I don't want to be a Rory. The sports model review, that's going to have responses. It shuts this week, I'm pretty sure, so it's being sent to sports committee this week and then hopefully presented to the next UA. We're going to kind of try and figure out some ways forward and how we're going to present to university. So we talked to the University Executive Board about that this morning. I've had another meeting about the access fund for next year, so it's going to be £30,000 every year for the next 5 years. They're going to split it into separate pots, such as money for membership fees, blah, blah, blah. But it is going to be for societies as well as sports teams. Do you mind? Thank you. Expenditure leader training. I put on my report there's no further work on this. However, I have started to do, so we've got a new InterVarsity sport coordinator in, Sophie. She's lovely if any of you meet her. We're going to do some work on standardising the student leader training for next year so that it's similar standard across sports societies and obviously JCRs as well. And me and Leah are going to, we spoke about this last year, but introducing some of the training on Women's Plus in leadership positions. So they said there's no work on there, but there actually was. Again, the stuff about finance, we're currently in the process of getting the new system in place. I have a meeting about that next week, but hopefully that will cause a lot of the issues around finance to disappear. Again, about the Women's Plus in leadership, we are still doing that paper. We've still got to cut that up. Oh my God. Put the actions from that into fruition, but that is coming. We're planning on doing a video around a kind of like Women's Plus experiences and leadership positions, because when Leah hosted her lovely Women's Plus conference, is that what it's called? Campaign day? The other day we were talking about kind of like the experiences of Women's Plus leaders and how some people don't realise that some of the experiences they're having could be misogyny and sexism. Yeah, so, oh god, that was a bit loud. So we're going to do a video basically talking about our experiences, and anybody else that wants to get involved can, and kind of just kind of raise awareness. But the majority of my time right now is being, obviously I was off last week for elections, but alright. Majority of my time is being taken up with Roses at the moment, so we've held meetings with almost every single one of the clubs that are competing in Roses, which, as you can imagine, was a fair few. It's quite a lot. So we posted them and just kind of finalising the fixture timetable and that sort of thing going forward. I had some really exciting news from, so Calm is going to be the charity partner for Roses, and we had a really good chat. I had a really good chat with them last week around the kind of like how we're going to really push for the fundraising and the raising awareness side of that this year. So there's going to be more information to come around that. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. Still waiting for books to get back to me. Apparently they take about 9,000 years to reply to an email. Don't know why. But there's going to be a meeting of the Neurodivergent Accessibility Network that I chair soon-ish. Trans Access Sport, we've got the paper coming today, which I'm not going to speak on because we'll talk about that later. And Society Access to Flat Floor Space. So in the last Societies Committee, we did basically a list of what we would want in order. Our first one was a building, which we do want, I want. But, you know, it's slightly unrealistic. But we're going to present them to the Vice-Chancellor and the UEB next time I meet them. That's just my list of committees that I have. Again, obviously Netball and Football Committee are chaired by Georgie and Henry. Move to the class, thank you. And yeah, Sports Committee, Societies Committee, Roses Committee, Sustainability Committee. All just swinging along. That's it really. I don't really have much of an update because most of my time's spent on elections in the past week. Any questions? Hello.
I know you said that you'd secured funding for 5 years.
Yeah.
Is that going to keep up with inflation over those 5 years? So will the value increase with inflation, or is it just fixed at that? Was it 30,000 for the 5 years with no allowance?
So it's a fixed donation that they got given, so that is the money. So then it is being split over the 5 years, but obviously the first year will be 30,000, but the bank account that they're keeping it in does gain interest, so it will go with inflation.
Is that interest at the same level of inflation or below or above inflation?
I have no idea, I'm not a finance person. I will ask, but I'll ask.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Any more? No? They go Rory? Oh, it's Leah. Oh, no, it's not.
I'm Liz. I'll be really quick on this. I also forgot, did anyone have any questions for me as president before you're going to have questions for me as Liz? Grand. Okay, so Liz, you can read her paper, I'm sure, and you can also read the slides. Conveniently, Liz has given a detailed outline. But I'll read it out for the benefit of the camera. Liz's manifesto key updates: curriculum transformation programme, semesterisation is to be delayed and potentially revised, new curriculum and modules will be going ahead. Working with department reps, faculty reps and with the academic dean to allow the modules will fit with, I'm going to try to do that, working with the dean to allow the modules to fit within the old academic year. I think that makes sense. And concerns around content and deadline bunching and student well-being. Actually doesn't make any sense when I read it out like that, does it? Does it make sense if you just read it?
Maybe if you add there are at the start.
Excellent. There are concerns around content and deadline bunching and student well-being. Thank you to them. Non-manifesto, PGR Hub, so I've touched on this a little bit. But notice boards and lockers are finally installed, although glacial speed movement, so things aren't happening very fast. Looking at the next steps to ramp this up in partnership with FAS PGR students. I presume that is happening, David. That's it.
Yeah, I've reached out to people in the first instance saying, just talk to me, just what do you think about that? A couple of people have replied, but again, it's just getting people to talk.
awesome. For the benefit of the camera, David has reached out to some people saying, please talk to me. And some have replied, which is good. And study space in town for postgrads. Liz has asked Estates to explore potential spacing options in town, looking into if a proposal would be feasible. I think she's touched on it in previous union assemblies, but there used to be a space in the Story for postgrad students to study, and then the university ceased that contract because they didn't think it was worth the money, and that's not very good. Lovely. Any questions for Liz? I can at the very least pass them on to her, but I can try and answer them. Lovely. Over to you, Leah.
Okay, fab. So on the work that I've been doing around mental health services, quick content warning, I'm going to be talking a little bit around student death. But there's not been much kind of change here other than we have at the end of March a meeting with kind of different partners involved in kind of the dealing with student deaths to talk about how we can prevent more in the future, how we can do better for our students, because I'm sure most of you will be aware there have been 5 student deaths this academic year, which is considerably more than we have seen in the past. I think the highest the university has seen before this was 3, and that was during COVID. So there's a lot to kind of look into on this. At the moment, a particular member of university staff who kind of takes the lead on like the student death protocol is looking at drugs as the leading cause, but I don't agree with this, and we'll be using this meeting as an opportunity to kind of push back against that and highlight the fact that I think it's quite reductionist. But other than that, there's been no kind of further change on the things that I mentioned at the last UA. On town safety, I promised in my paper an article, but it's kind of turned into a bigger, much more kind of fleshed out report because Frank told me so. Sorry, Frank.
Name drop.
Name drop. Sorry. So that will be coming soon. I'm working on it. I kind of listed in my paper a kind of few locations that were kind of flagged on our walk that we did on the 17th of February as kind of maybe being would benefit from better lighting, but the majority of locations that we kind of saw that were flagged by students as feeling unsafe, kind of whether that was on the map or through that kind of anecdotal like slips that we did, were actually fairly well lit already, or were green spaces that I would like to leave alone. I don't think they should be lit any more than they already are. So there is kind of more work to be done as to like looking into why these individuals are feeling unsafe and kind of what else can be done to mitigate this, kind of working hopefully in partnership with the City Council to kind of turn this into a wider project. And I know especially a couple of the incoming FDO team have put town safety on their manifestos, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this work is going to develop into next year. On period poverty, I wrote a lovely proposal kind of highlighting some high footfall areas that I think would benefit from kind of having free dispensers. I sent that off to the Registrar Secretary, Chief Operating Officer, Susan Mitchell, and I would like to kind of circulate that soon. But other than that, it's all very in hand. We had a chat this morning with the University Executive Board, and they gave me a kind of provisional timeline of soft launching the project in May, so that we have no kind of like hard operational like start time, but just kind of going off rough timelines. I was promised that it would hopefully start to come in before I leave office in June, so that's very exciting. On encouraging student-led initiatives, I offered some repeat training for JCR wellbeing officers. That was taken up by a few people, and that was really nice to kind of talk to people a bit more one-on-one and learn about what they're kind of working on within their colleges. And there was some really interesting stuff about tackling like student homesickness and FILE's upcoming Mental Health Day, which was very lovely to hear about. And I'm currently helping a student campaigner on kind of distributing reusable period products at the university. We were able to secure, I think, 66 menstrual cups that they would like to give out to students for free, along with some kind of educational resources about kind of how to use them, how much money students could save, kind of if they were able to make that initial investment. And then also kind of some conversations about like destigmatizing menstruation and kind of normalizing conversations around periods as a whole. On keeping campus trans inclusive, I would like to invite Saven to give us an update on all of the work that they've been doing, because they've been really taking the lead on this, and it's very exciting.
Why, thank you. So I'm going to give a little update because I forgot that we are meant to also give termly updates and I didn't do one last UA. But to begin with, there's an update on the EHRC and the whole mess that is. So as you're probably aware, the EHRC did a rushed interim guidance about trans inclusion in single-sex spaces in April of last year. There has been many developments in this. The most recent one is that the Good Law Project took a case to the High Court against the EHRC, where the High Court, as far as I can tell, and it's very hard to tell because there is surprisingly little reporting on this, essentially said that the EHRC's guidance wasn't unlawful, but it wasn't correct. Which means that functionally, as far as I can tell, for service users, a service can't be trans-exclusive if it's single-sex. This means that, for example, for students at a university, the university can't force a trans person to use a gendered facility like a toilet or changing room different from their gender. The same is not necessarily true for staff, where trans staff of the university would be able to be discriminated against and forced into an exclusionary space. It's unclear whether or not this also applies to associations. So it's not about facilities, this is about groups like our Women's Class Forum. This is something that is developing and we would need legal advice really to be able to tell. So that's the update on that as far as I can tell. I'm happy to take questions, but it's really complicated and I don't understand it fully. Then on our work in keeping campus trans inclusive, in various meetings with Steve Deason and other people, there's been progress on queer accommodation, which it looks like has gone through. As far as we can tell, various bits of the university are talking to each other and beginning to work on actually implementing it. I'm not sure yet if it will be implemented for next year or the year after, but it is looking like it is going through, so that's very good. Also, Gender Affirmation Fund, Gender Expression Fund. This is something that's in LUSU's policy, but it hasn't been operated on for the last few years. I think it was originally brought in by Josh Newsham. But because of lack of staff to handle it, it hasn't been there. And what this essentially is, if you aren't aware, it's a fund for students to be able to buy things that are helping with the alleviation of dysphoria. So these can be things like binders, possibly some smaller things like makeup, small items of clothing, packers, various things that will just vastly improve quality of life for people. In our meeting with Steve Deason, we asked for £5,000 with £50 per person, and he didn't say no. It seems like the university is partially agreeing to doing this as a widening participation scheme, which would mean it's not directly in the hands of the Students' Union, but I believe they want us as a LGBTQ plus community to have a say in how it's used, and it also means it will be more long-lived, and it won't have the risk of the same thing happening like it did before. Yeah, more updates on that hopefully soon. I'm just waiting on all that. I'm happy to take questions if there are any. Yeah?
I don't really understand why sort of students and staff are treated differently in
Me neither.
Does not seem how that can be.
It's That's using the example for the university, where the difference is between employees and service users. So it would be like at a cafe, the employees of the cafe don't have the same rights as service users because they are under employment. For some reason in this case, that makes them have less rights, which is interesting. Yeah, I don't understand either.
Do we know how PGRs would be impacted because they sit in that area?
This is one of the questions. It's very unclear. I'm working with the staff network, partially just right now waiting on them and the university's team to figure out what this actually means, because it is very unclear. Thank you. Back to you.
And very quickly, final point on continuing to tackle sexual misconduct. We're hoping to kind of get in the calendar some regular meetings with university staff about increasing the uptake of consent training. I am awaiting a calendar invite. It was revealed to... Am I allowed to talk about... Can I say what's talked about No. Okay, I said that it's low.
No, it should be.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool. Uptake of the the pre-existing consent training is lower than we would like it to be. So we're looking at working with the university to see if we can kind of encourage them to actually enforce it, because it's listed as required, but it's not like enforced. And then we'd also kind of off the back of that to work with them to maybe like hopefully implement some like in-person peer-to-peer training as well, because it's a lot better for like actually like changing behaviours and attitudes that kind of pervade this kind of this problem. So that's that, I think. Any questions? No?
Any questions? Anyone else?
Going back to like your first point on wellbeing services, I think you mentioned how like inaccessible and sort of they're not accessed by the majority of students, and students don't know how to access them. So is there anything that the Students' Union or the university is currently doing to address that?
So the university at the moment is kind of, I think it's gone live. They've got like a single point of entry that they've done, which is kind of, the aim is to like streamline the process and just make it easier for students to either self-refer or be referred by a university member of staff into the service. They're also putting out some like training, some like tiered training for university staff. So basically like how much training you do is dependent on like whether or not you're like student facing or like kind of that like working within the wellbeing service as a whole, essentially, that is hoping to kind of encourage them to feel more confident in responding to any like disclosures that they receive from students and know how to direct them into the wellbeing service. At the moment, I'm trying to look at like working on the kind of reputation that the service has and kind of pre-existing like preconceptions, that's the word, that students might have, that even if they do technically know how to access the service, why they are maybe choosing not to or feel like they don't want to. So that's something that I would like to start engaging with. But does that answer your question? Yeah.
Any other questions?
Maybe aimed at sort of, especially like JCR welfare leads, mental health first aid training, because obviously, especially when they're out off campus running activities, it might be useful to just have some extra tools in their toolkit to deal with things in the first instance.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I know this year the university kind of in partnership with Lancashire Mind put on like some suicide first aid training for staff and students. I think there's still a session of that available for students to sign up to, which is happening in May. I can like double check the dates and like send it out to everyone if that's something that people are interested in. I did it in October and I thought it was really, really valuable. So looking at kind of making that a more long-term thing rather than just a year would definitely be something that I think both the university and Lancashire Mind would be more than happy to facilitate. So yeah.
Cool. Anybody else? No. Frank, Misba's not here. So. Oh. Yeah, will you please? Oh. Should we all take you down? Yeah, that's an American time.
Do you normally open the Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't be discussed. No, I mean like advice.
I can explain a bit more about it. I'm open.
Here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Rory O'Sullivan.
So close, Gareth. So close. So I'm introducing this paper, but it's been prepared by Misba, the CEO of the Students' Union and one of the directors of the Sugar House. So this paper is mostly just to be transparent with everyone that drinks prices are going up in sugar. They have gone up in sugar, and are they about to go up again, or have they're done? They're done and dusted. It's not restricted that drinks prices have gone up. You can tell people that drinks prices have gone up. You can tell people about the discussion about why drinks prices have gone up that we'll go into. What is restricted particularly? Is it just kind of the...
Kind of like our buying prices, because obviously if our competitors got our purchasing volumes and prices.
Cool. So our buying prices and the volumes that we purchase in are commercially sensitive, so please don't go around to Molly O'Malley's and tell the staff there how much we're buying our drinks for, because then we'll be sad. But largely, I think the headlines realistically are that alcohol duties come in, that's been imposed by the government. We've been holding our drink prices low for a very long time, to the point that actually if we didn't put them up now, we'd be making losses on drinks as we sold them. And so we have to put the prices up. And I understand this is a contentious topic, obviously, with the cost of living. However, by keeping the prices at a profitable level for us as a students' union, it allows us to keep the Sugar House open. And by the Sugar House staying open, we're not only providing a nightclub in Lancaster, which we're running short of at the moment, but the income that's generated from the Sugar House goes straight back to the student union to allow us to deliver all of the activity that we do, whether that be societies, sports teams, JCRs, academic representation, liberation officers. And so it is vital that we keep this business afloat. What we have done as well is we've kept the door prices the same, and those have been held the same for 15 years or longer. Was that as long as anyone in this room can probably remember? Adjusting for inflation, actually, it is the same amount of money to enter the Sugar House as it was when the Sugar House opened in the 1980s. So that's a fun fact for you. But that's kind of the headlines. You have the paper, you can open the paper, you can look through the paper. It's got details of the new prices and kind of the differences in the prices from what they were to what they are now. We've made an effort to keep soft drink prices as low as possible as well, because there is an increasing prevalence of people going to the club and not drinking alcohol, which is absolutely fine. We love you being there. Please carry on turning up and drinking Fanta or whatever you drink. I don't go to the club, to be honest. I'm happy to take any questions. Ms. was in the room to take some questions as well, if you have any questions. But that's the overall kind of the vibe of the paper. We just wanted to be transparent with you. It felt underhanded to be upping the prices basically without letting people know that the drink prices were going up. I know I've been to Trev before, and the Guinness has gone up from £4.50 to £5, and I thought I had been let down. So we didn't want that feeling to extend to you guys. But yeah, any questions? Or comments? Yes.
Could I ask what other sort of strategies for cost cutting have been explored, such as maybe changing the security company that's used and other things like that?
Sorry, I was just checking. So we tender the FGH contract. We have to tender the FGH contract. We have been notified by FGH that come 1st of April, they're increasing their prices yet again by over 7%. I don't know how much you know about security companies in Lancaster, but there's not a lot of them, and not a lot of them that do it to the standard that we want. And even now with FGH, just being very transparent, they don't always hit the mark. We get student complaints about them, and we investigate them, and we have the authority to say certain staff members aren't allowed to work on our team. We explored bringing it in-house, as in that is employing people ourselves, but the risks, the amount it would cost, the training, the recruitment, the SIA licence, the risk, it was way more than the current cost of going through FGH. They've been on the doors since the opening pretty much of the club. FGH actually set up, I don't, fun fact, but FGH set up, Sugar House was the very first contract for FGH as a Lancaster student. We saw a gap in the market and discovered that. So we looked at that, we looked at FGH, we looked at what we could do around the student staff in the venue. So I don't know if colleagues are aware, but we recruit our student staff through Lancaster University's ERS service, and then we pay costs on top for the hire. Many moons ago, we used to actually have our own student staff in-house in the organisation, and we used to do the payroll, the NI, everything. Pre-me, historically, it was deemed more cost-effective to bring that service together and to everybody use that service. We have more recently explored it. However, we are still very proudly a living wage recruiter and employer. We don't want to change that because it means that there's less money in pockets. We looked at shift sizes for how long shifts were being allocated to student staff, and I deem anything less than 4 hours isn't worth a student travelling to the club and back. And unfortunately, we do have some shifts where we need people to come stock up the bars and do certain things, and they're done within that. So we try to find alternative jobs for them to do in the venue, so they get at least 4 hours for their time. We have made changes to the management team. This is the smallest management team we have ever had in the history of the Sugar House. So we've literally gone for 5-person management teams right down to 2 people at the moment, and that is a huge cost saving. So I can keep going if you want, because we have scrutiny internally. We get scrutiny at governance sub, at finance and risk, because we report to the trustees, and then we get scrutiny at board level. So we're just constantly trying to do everything we can to explore the options. I hope that answers your question, Lynn.
Can you share what the security cost is itself, if you know that?
I don't think that's commercial competence. Sorry, I'm just checking that I don't breach. I think I could. Yeah. I think it's, but I don't have it on me. Is that okay that I don't have it? So it changes depending on the night and depending on the number of people in our venue. So if you look up our licence on the City Council website, it tells us how many security that we have to have on what levels. We have tried to argue that ours is unfair. I don't know if you've been to any of the venues, but Sugar has a lot more security than lots of other venues, and there's pros to that. We have looked at whether we could review that. I don't think we can. I don't think the council is going to allow us to review that due to the fact that we're roughly 1,600 is our size of our club. The small room's about 6,200, and then the rest is in the big room. So I don't mind sharing it after the meeting. I need to double check.
We can go away and just make sure it's not commercial in confidence,
Yeah.
and then we can circulate it in the assembly channel if that's so, yeah.
Yeah, more than happy to do that. And it's the same price as for the other events. So they're fee So I don't know if you're aware, the union use FGH for open days. We use them for like roses. We use them for, I'm trying to think of all the work that we do. It's a set fee. So it's not a special fee just for the sugar house. It's just their set fee. Yes, trying to be as thorough as I can.
Any other questions? Yes, David, we'll get you a microphone, 2 seconds.
Thank you. A question that I had, obviously something that's mentioned quite a bit on this paper is regarding like specific drinks and like the increase that those have had. I'm wondering, is there a potential to have like, to utilize like other competitors? So instead of using like Red Bull, which is increased by 30p, are we able to use like other companies like Monster or like things that could potentially be cheaper? Is that a viable option?
That's a really good question, and we've already done it on the lines where we thought we could get best outcome for students. So, for example, about a year ago, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but we took out branded Coke, branded lemonade, and we actually put in Riviera. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. We put in Riviera. This is commercial in confidence, sorry, I need to just put that out there. So we changed brands, and that is why we were able to hold the soft drink price at that cheap level for a period of time. But Riviera have now increased their price to try to catch up with the market, so we have had to do a small increase. We stock the cheapest vodka that is available through the National Union of Students Consortium. So for anyone who didn't know, we have to buy our drinks through the NUS Consortium. Certain drinks, like Red Bull, for example, we get something called a rebate, which is called a kickback. So if we stock certain lines and they hit like a certain percentage, we get a kickback. I don't think we're going to get one on Red Bull, just to be very honest with you. I don't think we've hit the quota, and we want to be a responsible venue where we're not like making students buy things because we're trying to hit the consortium figure. The next question is going to be, where does this money go? So the consortium money that the union makes off the selling of the drinks goes back into the sugar house to do extra things. So two of the things that we're exploring at the moment is an investment in the sound system. Is one of the things that we would like to explore. And the second thing we're trying to do is we're trying to get one of the bars is closed. I don't know if anyone's noticed in the big room. We can't afford the fridges and the maintenance in there, so we're trying to use the kickback money to get the bar back open to deliver a quicker service, especially over roses. We don't really want to be a bar out over roses, so we get consortium prices. We can't just go to like Booker's or Aldi and buy drinks from there and stock them. We wouldn't be allowed to do that. We would be in breach of the consortium. The other issue that we've got is we can only buy products which are PET, which are like in the plastic bottles. We're a glass-free venue, and to purchase PET costs more per unit. So you might look at, for example, Generation. I don't know if you see their offer. They do the triple offer. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the triple offer. We can't do the triple offer. And we can't do the triple offer because, number one, it is against the Sugar House alcohol policy. We will not serve any student or patron a triple shot for welfare, well-being things, issues. The second reason is that they are not within the consortium, so their buying, purchasing is different than ours. So on some drinks we're better, on some drinks we're not. I don't know if that answers the thoroughness of your question.
Cool. Okay, we'll go to Sonny and then Sam.
Yeah, so you mentioned where we have to buy the alcohol from the NUS is like trade block. Has it been looked into if the SU was to withdraw from that, how much it would cost to go locally?
That's a really good question. I'll pass you over to the political arm of the union.
I'll just reiterate, we're live streaming as well, Elizabeth, so
I do really like it.
keep careful on some commercial confidence. You haven't said anything that incriminating
Sorry,
yet.
no one told me.
So, as my understanding is, leaving the consortium would be different to leaving NUS UK. So at the moment we're in NUS UK as the charity, the political arm, which is what Leah and I are going down to tomorrow to do some national lobbying, but also through NUS they offer this commercial arm which do all these drinks deals. And it's also, we've got a deal with the bars on campus that allow them to purchase their drinks through our membership to the NUS consortium. I actually don't know if we get much money off the university for doing that, if you can answer that.
We have a contract with them that runs to our RPI, which we introduced, I think about a year and a half ago, when we realised that the contract hadn't been like reviewed or looked at, because the university buys all the alcohol and all the drinks, the bars on campus, through the NUS consortium, which implies that it's probably one of the cheapest ways of getting drinks, because otherwise I would imagine they would go out and re-tender and look at another.
Yeah.
But it's a very good question, and
No.
I could take it as an action.
Yeah, it is a good question, because also you've got sort of the buying power of the consortium, and it is tied to how many students' unions are in that consortium, and obviously there is a rise in students' unions looking to leave the National Union of Students, and therefore the buying power of the NUS consortium by sort of association loses some leverage. I think recently Diageo has been a bit of a problem in the consortium. For those of you who don't know, Diageo own, I think it's Heineken and Guinness. And so you'll probably have noticed that while the university bars continue to stock Guinness, the prices aren't very good anymore, because Diageo basically said, we're too big for you, we can set whatever price we want, you can't tell us what to do. So there is some politics in the consortium too, because they can sort of opt to pull out of a big deal with a commercial arm and basically say, well, we're not going to buy your product anymore, and it's going to impact your sales. Obviously, I think Diageo probably turn around and say, what even is the NUS? But so it's a big kind of mess around the country. We can definitely look at sort of what local prices look like. We can take that away as an action, because we can leave the consortium without leaving the political arm. And I believe we can do it the other way around as well. We can leave the political arm without leaving the consortium. But leaving the political arm is a referendum sort of business that would need motioning by some invested members, I'd say. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Cool. Sam?
I had a very similar question. I also wanted to ask about what would leaving the NUS mean for drinks prices, but also sort of looking wider about, is there anything, if I understood we have to buy our drinks through the consortium, is there any other ways that we're confined through this consortium to buy certain services that if we left the NUS we would have more freedom over?
We only buy our drinks through the consortium. We don't purchase any of the services. The consortium is literally, because we don't do food, so we're not part of that arm, we're not part of the retail arm, so it's just alcohol that we buy through the consortium. We don't buy any of our cleaning products, for example, or infrastructure stuff through the consortium. It's just the alcohol and the soft drinks that you see stocked.
Yeah, we don't need to get like our DJs through the consortium.
No.
That would be funny though if the NUS dictated what DJs you could play at student union club.
Any more questions? Yes.
I suppose, how have you seen, since the closure of LA1, have you seen a greater footfall since then?
So with regards to our budget and the Sugar House, we have seen a small increase. What we have seen, and it continues to remain consistent post-COVID, is a decrease in the number of students drinking alcohol. And what we have seen is that they'll come to Sugar more towards the end of their night, and they've already had a drink, and they'll pay their entry and just want to come out for a good night. So I wouldn't say that we've seen a huge increase in actual income coming through our tills. If anything, we've had a couple of nights where we've not hit our budget, and we've, I think on one night, lost and did break even. Obviously, now that I'm conscious that we are live streaming, I was aware of that. I'm just trying to be very careful with what I say, but we have seen an increase in footfall, but an increase in footfall doesn't mean an increase in more money coming into the venue, if that makes sense.
Do you know what the average footfall is?
About 1,000. So on a Wednesday and a Friday, if we hit about 1,000, we're okay. You kind of see that as an okay night. Saturday, I don't know if you saw, but we tried like a disco event. Didn't really work. Wednesday didn't hit budget. Wednesday didn't hit budget, but then we saw it on Friday, and we don't know if that was off the back of the election results night, and more people were out. And so yeah, it's just we're now entering a quiet period before roses. So you start to see a dip, also cost of living, and we'll see a dip, and then we'll see Roses weekend is our final big weekend for the Sugar House, and then we'll close the regulars.
We monitor it after every night. We go through the numbers after every night because we have to make sure that it's kind of a live business. What I would say is, you would expect we should be jumping with joy that there's very little competition in town, but actually it's quite healthy to have sort of a few about, because you want people just out to begin with, and then some might land in Sugar, some might land in a competitor, and so I don't think it would be in ours or students' interests to be saying that we want to have the monopoly over Lancaster's nighttime scene, because Sugar can only cater towards a certain market each night, whereas if there's a range of clubs doing different things each night, it has that benefit too. I think there was an event hosted by students the other night, which was quite nice to see that there's kind of that push and that drive for some variation in town.
Any more questions? Amazing. We will move on. Thank you very much for your time, Isabel, for coming. Next break. Break. It's been an hour. What do we think? 5 minutes. Come back. Go to little push through. What does everyone want to do?
People standing up.
People standing up. We'll reconvene in 5 minutes.
It's fine because I got I saw that. Is that any other business
Standing you down.
It's fine, because we've learned how to do practice by basically, everyone says, have you gone through the correct procedure? Yes, we have. I love that. It's fine. Yeah,
Okay, don't go home. Go somewhere quiet. Go somewhere quiet. I've got chili. Yes. I've made the sauce already, so I just need to add the mince and the kidney beef and then chili. I would never have guessed that. Why does Steve talk so much? It was good. You just talk genuinely like it didn't finish the when we started with the band. It's fine. I prefer this one because I can put mine
Send a picture of you crying. Reconvening in 3 minutes.
It's about as water.
Give me my ball back.
Got to wait for Frank to sit down as well. There's no point, we can't go without him. I don't think more than 5 minutes. We're not going to meet without any minutes, are we? Okay, we've got a lot on the agenda, so I'm going to crack on, even though everyone's not back, but we've got stuff to get through, so hello everyone. Okay, we'll go on to agenda item 4. I'd like to invite anyone that is up to present it, such as Diva, Saven, Emily, Leah, Nixon.
I was just...
Cool.
Okay, so this motion, I'm going to assume everyone's had a chance to read it. It's quite short. This is part of our ongoing Trans Plus Inclusion, Trans Plus Access to Sport campaign, which me, Emily, Leah, and Nixon from Sports Committee and Women in Sports Society have been working on since the start of the academic year. And this is particularly to do with sports clubs and sporting societies and how accessible they are to trans students who would like to participate. There's a lot of nuance in how these work, where they have to follow Bucks rules, kind of, and the level of trans inclusion is set by the national governing body for that sport, where Bucks won't do anything about it if it is trans exclusive, and the sports clubs also kind of won't do much, although in many cases they will do some level where trans people are able to compete in friendly competitions and stuff. Yeah, if you want to go over that.
Yeah, so basically, obviously, from, I don't know if we've discussed this at UA yet, but from obviously the AHRC guidance that was saying that a lot of NGB, so if you look at sporting kind of legislation in terms of gender eligibility for different sports, the NGB, which is National Governing Body, is the top level, so they create all of the gender eligibility rules. Bucks then has to adhere to whatever the NGB says. So say for example, if England Netball set a specific gender eligibility rule, Bucks, if they are delivering a women's netball league, then has to abide by whatever that NGB says. And then us, by partaking in Bucks or any other affiliated league, then has to abide by whatever that NGB rule has. It's been a big issue this year, obviously, following the Supreme Court ruling, because a lot of the NGBs tightened up their guidelines really like tightly for no reason. Like some of them are really strict for no reason whatsoever. Bucks did a lot of work to kind of, they were kind of in a bit of a weird situation because they had to abide by the NGBs, but they were trying to obviously do a lot of things to make it more inclusive. So they made an Excel spreadsheet which basically has the entirety of every single sport that they run under Bucks, and what the different rules are, if the rules were triggering for people to read, so that SUs/universities, whoever were delivering this information, would be able to do so in a way that was like person-centred. But yeah, one of the big issues is that one of the things that we've tried to push this year is like knowledge of this. So if, like, say for example, like it's confusing, and it's something that even I'm like slightly confused at from time to time, and I've been like doing work on this for like a year now. And you can't imagine how confusing it must be to like a fresher, for example, that comes in and wants to join a sports team. So the whole point of this is that we're trying to make it more so that, what's the word I'm looking for?
Accessible.
Accessible, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that explained it properly.
Yeah, I feel like it's that's the background to why this motion has been put forward by us. What the motion does, if it does pass, is that it will require sporting clubs and sporting societies to have a statement available, be that on Union Cloud, posted on their Instagram, and sent through to the Students' Union for verification, that it's accurate, just describing how they are trans-inclusive, where they aren't, and why they aren't. So this may be some sports like Ultimate Frisbee, the national governing body is not trans-exclusive. So the statement can just be trans students can participate in all of our events, training, etc. For other sports where the national governing body is trans-exclusive for competitions, it can be something along the lines of trans students are welcome to participate in training and friendly matches, but aren't able to compete in tournaments because of the rules of the national governing body. And this is partially so that people can easily see where they can and can't compete and what they can and can't do in sporting clubs and societies. It is also a little bit to throw a bit of fire against the national governing bodies who are actually responsible, so that it doesn't get thrown against the sporting clubs and societies execs who don't really have much of a say. You'll also, in the results section, see that this is going to be a requirement for re-affiliation, so that it has to be there for sporting clubs and societies, where it doesn't necessarily have to be amended and corrected each year, because realistically they won't change every year, but this is something that the Students' Union will run workshops for, and as part of the re-affiliation process make it clear that this needs to be done, so that there isn't a risk of a group being disaffiliated without proper warning that this is something that has to be done. And this is a very strong step towards trans inclusion in sport, which honestly has been a problem way before the EHRC. This has just been a good launching off point. We're happy to take questions if there are any.
Yeah, I would just say that it is this, and the intention of this is like kind of what Tom was saying, is not to say, for example, if a particular sport has really strict NGB rules, the point is to kind of, as you were saying, like take the blame as such off the execs and put it onto the NGBs instead. But yeah, in terms of support for groups doing this, the workshops will be being run so we can help clubs write them if they have any questions about them, that sort of thing. I will make sure that communication around this is solid and that groups get information as soon as possible about it. But yeah, I think this is something that has caused a lot of the Supreme Court ruling and the HRC guidance has caused a lot of issues this year for Trans Plus students and just general accessibility to sport. And I think this is a really strong step that we can make as a union to demonstrate that we are in support of the Trans Plus community and their ability to be able to compete at different levels of sport. Questions?
I think Rory has one.
Oh, go on.
Just for clarity, with this, realistically, in the vast majority of cases, we'd just be asking groups to have a short sentence on their Union Cloud page as people go to sign up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm imagining literally 2 sentences in most cases.
Okay. That's, yeah. Sounds nice and simple.
Cool. Any other comments, questions, queries before we take it to a vote? Yes, at the back.
Will this information be on the execs to find, or will it be given by the student union to the execs to write a message on? Because I know, for example, the cricket, the ECB guidelines, depending on what level the sport is, depending on how regularly you play it, it's completely different.
So I have all the information for all the different sports teams, so when we do the workshops and when I send out all the information, I will send that out to clubs. So it won't be on clubs to find information, it will just be, they will literally just have to write the sentences, and then it will be fact checked by us, obviously, in case it's wrong. So that's another thing that we don't want wrong information to go out.
Cool. Any others? No.
Frank, how do you want to vote? Anonymously or...
It's not a decision for me, decision for the room.
Ah, decision for the room. Would anyone like anonymous voting, or are you all okay to vote with your hands and a slip? Speak now for a moment, please. Proxies.
If there are no reasons to your proxy.
Which ones of yous do not get to vote here, shouldn't be here? David? Yep. Okay, cool. Everyone else is a voting member or a registered proxy. Cool. So can I just, do they need slips or can I just do hands up? Okay, I'll still. All in favour of yes, raise your hand.
Voting for the motion.
Voting for the motion. I didn't get trained. I am team yes.
I am team yes.
Okay, any hands up for against? I've got this. Anyone for abstain? Perfect! All in favour? Unanimous vote. Done. Cool. Cool. Agenda 5, Rory.
This should be nice and quick. This is mostly for information, basically because it's already happening, but it's an opportunity for people to voice their opinions if they have any. Basically, there's been, I think this has been kickstarted by two different angles. So one is our lovely sport committee have nice uniforms, and other people are jealous. But also, yeah, Emily's a trendsetter. But also our JCR execs, there is, because of the politics of the university and the petty politics of the university, there's a lot of kind of argument between LUSU and the university as to who actually operates you guys. The fact of the matter is it's LUSU operates JCR execs. And therefore, who funds certain things and who does what. Currently, as of this year, the university have been funding JCR execs, so polo shirts or hoodies or tops or whatever you guys wear. In the past, it's been down to you to budget it for yourself to get something. And this is just an opportunity basically to clarify that for everyone and basically say, we will get your merch now. We have £5,000 ring-fenced each year to pay for merch for you guys to wear. So in the case of JCR execs, it'll probably be down to your presidents, vice presidents, leads, whatever, to decide what you want your merch to look like, and then the whole exec can look a bit more uniform. In the case of kind of the various committees, you can each do that yourself. But broadly, we want to give you as much sort of freedom of optionality as possible. So it'll be like the Akuma store at the moment, where you can just go online and kind of pick that you want a hoodie or a polo shirt or something like that. I think the model is going to look like you will be able to go on, you'll choose one item, and that first item will be the free item that Lucy will pay for you. But if you want more, because you're sweaty or something, you'll have to pay for that. Similar to, I think, a good example I can give is in FedEx JCR. The polo shirts were always bought by the JCR, but if you wanted a hoodie, you bought that yourself. So if you're really passionate about being a faculty rep, for example, you can get a hat and a t-shirt and a pair of socks that all say BAS rep. That's what I'm envisaging it to be like anyway. But this money's already been ring-fenced. We're just out investigating different suppliers at the moment to make sure that we're getting things from ethical sources. And yeah, hopefully we're going to start it this academic year. So I think JCRs will benefit the most out of this, actually, in the fact that your SCRs will have probably already bought you some merch. But now it's time to get you some more merch from Lucy. But then from next year, it'll be a bit more standardised. Yeah, I'll take any questions or any comment or any feedback. But otherwise, you're all going to have nice clothes that have your name on it. And the one downside, I'm afraid, is going to have Lucy's logo on it. Maybe we could have a discussion as to whether it's the triangle one or just the Lancaster University Students' Union. But yeah, that's kind of it. We just love to see you guys, enjoying the societies and the groups that you're in, and want to make sure that you're going around proudly wearing it.
Cool, you've lost a Rory. Any questions? No questions? Cool. Item number 6. I'd like to invite Emily and Yannick to present. Plug your laptop in.
no, I've just closed it all, Frank.
Hello.
Frank is missed the presentation.
Just like talking to yourselves like 2 minutes. Rory broke the computer, so great.
What's everyone having for their tea tonight? What are you having for tea for tonight, guys? Hello. 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 I would like to introduce Janik, who is the men's twos captain for tennis, who has a proposal for you.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's my first time at the UA meeting. My heart's racing, so if I repeat myself, apologies. I'll try to keep it concise, and yeah, let's get started. Again, I'm Yannick. I'm the men's twos captain, second year undergrad, and I would like to propose the idea for a university tennis dome. So it's an air supported membrane structure, pretty like the most basic dome there really is. And the main goal is just to protect the tennis courts from, unplayable wind and rain conditions. This all started last year when I was, tons of training cancellations. We had match fixtures rescheduled, and essentially I was talking to my captains and the president as well, and everyone was saying, oh yeah, we tried, it's impossible, never gonna happen. I didn't take that very kindly, so I decided I'm gonna try it myself. And it really ended up, I crunched the numbers essentially, by looking at the actual statistics of the twos trainings cancellations. And then I also went out to talk to the ones captain, the women's captain, and also the social development squad, the person in charge for the social development squad, which is Louis, our vice president. And the numbers are kind of crazy, in my opinion. A typical sport loses 10% of sessions to weather, which is a statistic I found online. And with sports that are more susceptible to weather, such as running, or in this case, like cross country or tennis, it goes up to 25%. The women's team training sessions, this is all from the first term. So at the end of the first term, I spoke to everyone, this is the numbers I got. The women's team had to cancel 44% of their training sessions. The men's twos, 33%. This is just training, not matches. The men's ones, also 33% of trainings cancelled. And the social development squad, which absolutely shocked me, 63%. Now, the social development squad, I'd like to talk about that a bit more, because the social dev squad is for all of those students who they might be doing other sports, or tennis might be their main sport, but they're doing it just for the love of the sport, that's kind of the only reason they go there. And having nearly 2/3 of your training sessions cancelled, it might be their only opportunity to play tennis with these sessions, and then having 2/3 of that cancelled due to weather throughout the year is, I don't know, it's just a bit of a stab in the heart, really. Now, the solution, like I said, is an air-supported tennis dome. This is, let me keep going. Sorry, give me a sec. Yeah, so the idea is this would then lead to consistent training schedules, home fixtures, and not just include participation around the university, but it would be the first tennis dome in the entire city of Lancaster. The entire, citywide, we don't have indoor tennis courts, and the nearest place would be Preston. We have to travel all the way to Preston, which is not really viable for many because of transportation costs, and you also have to book courts there, which are more expensive since they're not a part of the sports centre. The good news is, we already have the tennis courts. A big part of this is usually, you got to build the courts, you got to build a dome. We already have done 50% of that, so the cost of building this tennis dome is going to go down significantly. It's, according to the LTA, which is the Lawn Tennis Association, they're kind of in charge, they're the governing body of tennis across Great Britain, the Channel Island, and the Isle of Man. And I've been in contact with them, and they've said this estimated costs of building this will be around 200,000 to 330,000 pound. I've spoken to Emily about the funding for this, in terms of how much funding the sports centre gets, and again, with the whole live stream thing, it's new to me. Am I allowed to say how much funding the sports centre gets? No? Okay. Well, the point is, it's viable. Again, according to the LTA, there should be, or based on a case study, based off of case studies they've done, it's a 164% increase in revenue. And this dome would last around 10 to 15 years. So it's not a short-term project, it's very much a long-term project that would, build up our sports community and just be great in terms of increasing level of tennis and the participation that's available to everyone. In terms of funding and strategy, there are other, besides the university funding and the sports centre funding, there are other methods of doing that. Like I said, Sports England funding, LTA grants, different, investments, they can all help us make this, dream a reality, really. Now, very important note, this does not just affect tennis. Again, while I was speaking with Emily, she told me that the netball, specifically college netball, has had this issue as well, where they don't really get access to the netball courts inside the sports centre. Apparently, the sports centre netball courts are reserved for uni netball, which is great, but also college netball shouldn't be neglected either. And with tennis, we don't have university indoor tennis courts, And with tennis, it's, it would support the uni team, it would support the social aspect of tennis, and over, harsh winter conditions, or even in the summer, when students leave away, leave to go wherever they go, and the university might be a bit more empty, it provides a chance for the city to access these tennis courts as well. And this funding element that I'm coming back to, it is a very viable idea that would again be greatly beneficial to the university, in my opinion. There are proven case studies of success. For example, other universities that have done this is the University of Reading and the University of York. Again, I'm talking about single membrane air supported structures. So there are different versions of this. There are double membrane structures and there are actual, sports halls, but the most common one and the most, achievable one that makes sense would be the single membrane structure, which again, 200 to around 330,000 quid for 10 to 15 years. And this, York has them, University of Reading has them, and if the University of Lancaster would have them, Lancaster Uni, then not only is it good for, like I said, the sport itself, but it would also help us be a lot more competitive, Roses are red, so I'm saying, it would be a great idea. In conclusion, like I said, there's tons of impacts that this has on tennis, the weather-wise, and having these domes, not just for tennis, but again, we should seriously consider doing this for the netball outdoor courts as well. would be amazing because we could have more opportunities to play our sports. We could extend it to all levels of tennis. It's just simply better. I mean, that's just the conclusion I'm arriving at. And after doing my research, the conclusion I've arrived at, it's simply the best choice for the uni, because why not, you know, after all this. So yeah, I realize I rambled a bit, so if you guys have any questions or want me to go back on anything to expand on it, please feel so free. And if not, yeah, I'll leave it up to you.
I would just like to add before we start that we're voting on the SU putting forward this proposal, so it would be me putting forward the proposal to take it to the university. It would be funded by the university, we ain't paying for it. And I think it's something that I know a lot of you who are in college netball as well will feel the impact of. I mean, Kit, bless her, she organises all the college netball fixtures, and there's been so many cancelled this year, like so many. The outdoor courts are basically unusable, like for the vast majority of days when it rains. So it's something that I think is going to greatly benefit college netball and also tennis as well, and anybody else that uses the outdoor courts. I think it is something that the university should push for, and what I should be pushing for in my job, which is like to come here. Well, yeah, as I said, any questions?
Okay, any questions? Yeah, we'll go to Georgie at the back first, and then we'll come into the middle.
Hi. So from a college netball perspective, I think we could 100% agree. So if you look at the figures that you put out, I promise you if I asked all the colleges, we'd have the exact same thing with cancelled training sessions, etc. You mentioned a little bit about how we can't use the indoor courts because they're prioritised for uni. It's not so much that they're prioritised for uni, it's that they're more expensive, and the big push on college netball is to be cheaper. So my worry is, because I would love a dome over the netball courts, I really, really agree, and I've seen it affect you guys just as much as it has affected us, is how expensive this would then become, because we're not Bucks sport, we're not, like, the aim is to be kind of a cheaper alternative to play sport at university. So to then the construction costs, and then the, what you're saying, so it was 5,000 to 15,000 a year for operational costs. How would, if that then went on to the prices for courts, that could then price out college sport again from booking those courts. So I think that's something that needs to be considered, because I think from then, as much as it would benefit college sport to be able to play, it would also mean we've lost a lot of like money, basically.
No, it's definitely a great consideration. I think the way I originally envisioned this when I, suggested the idea was to have both indoor and outdoor courts. So this wouldn't really increase the price, it would more, like I said, create a viable alternative to being forced to not to play, And again, I haven't been able to speak to the sports center directly yet, because as of right now, really it's more of an idea. My goal is to pass this in union assembly and then push it forward, and then the more backing this has from the university, the more I can actually talk to the sports center, I'm honestly not sure who else needs to be involved, potentially city council, and then genuinely just talk to them in a more serious manner, because right now it's sort of been a one-man mission. So the more I can push this, the more I can get back to you with those answers and have those serious chats and get those considerations answered, because it's, like I said, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Can I just bounce in? So the university has a rolling capital budget for sport, which, provided this is within that, which it should be, it wouldn't affect the...
So not even the operational courts for the sports centre, because the sports centre love to take on money.
So, provided this is just the outdoor, so like the university is investing in a lot of, without going into too much detail, a lot of capital changes in various aspects of what they do. I mean, they just revamped, what was it, the American football, the 3G, that's the one, and that shouldn't have increased the price of playing that sport, because they've invested that money in. because that budget is already set aside to do that, basically. So this would basically just be kind of, if sold right, it would just be fitting within that capital plan that already exists. And that capital plan is not just the sports centre. This is a big kind of capital plan which includes things like the Ruskin building that they're spending £14.4 million on. So they can quite easily take money from other parts of the university to fund all this. It would just be...
Also, can I just mention real quick? Right now, you've got students using these courts, or like even out from outside the university. You've got people using these courts and they just come down when it's sunny and they play tennis, which is great. In theory, you're supposed to book them. So from a sports center perspective, they would be making money regardless, because having these domes would ensure that if you do make a booking, you'll definitely have a court to play on, because the weather won't matter. It won't have an effect on whether or not you'll be able to play tennis. So they'll get more bookings, and I think that will help offset the annual revenue costs as well, the upkeep costs. Yes, another question.
There was one that you still have.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but, I mean, please.
Sorry, they were first,
Were they?
Also, you're not the chair. I know, right? I said then we'll go to the middle.
Was it not up to me to choose who to go?
Oh, well.
It's okay.
Yes.
Regarding the sports centre increasing prices on the pitches which do get the dome, is there any way to ensure that they won't do it? Because would there be like a difference in booking a non-dome pitch compared to the dome pitch? Or would it be standardised for a set number of years or something? Like, is there any way to ensure the sports centre will adhere to that?
Right. I feel like it's a bit of a similar question. I think the goal is that the price wouldn't change. I think that's sort of the aim for that. And whether or not we'd actually get, outdoor and indoor courts, if I go back to this picture, on the left, that's York University right now. That's sort of the ideal, You've got those indoor courts, you've got outdoor courts, great, you've got a choice, Whether we can make that happen, that's still up for debate. It might be, in terms of the space and how we build it, again, we'd have to talk to architects or whatever, but I can't guarantee you that there would be outside spaces. So inherently that question is a bit tough to answer, because I can't guarantee there would be outdoor spaces, though that is the goal. But yes, back to the pricing, I think outdoor and indoor courts would be the same. Like, realistically, it wouldn't make sense for the sports center to change that, but I can't really speak on their behalf.
Cool. Is that good? Finally, we'll go to this lovely DV here that I had up before. Sorry, Christina, I'm making you run around.
If you feel like you don't need it, you just go for it, but...
I guess for the sake of the count,
Hi. So, I mean, my main concern was that netball wouldn't be included, but obviously you've gone over that. With the quote that you found, you said it was for like 2 to 4 courts, I think it said.
Yes.
This is more so for like clarification. Are you not worried that including netball in this is going to like double the price?
Oh, so yeah, no, that is an important distinction. It would definitely increase the price. So including the figures that I've given you would be for, it says 2 to 4, but it would be for 4 tennis courts. That's kind of where I'm saying we could have both indoor and outdoor courts, because instead of having 4 tennis courts as a dome and then none of the netball ones have one, you sort of do half and half, which would then keep the price the same, and both sports would have equal opportunity to play indoors and outdoors. So that's kind of where that idea comes from.
Can I just add on, from what Rory was saying before, the university has money every year they put into financial investment into the sports centre facilities, so this is more of me going to them and suggesting to them that this should be part of their plans. So it's not as if we're trying to find money, if that makes sense. The money is already there, it's just we're trying to direct how it's being spent.
Yeah, okay, that helps a lot. Thank you.
We'll go to Emily at the back.
I think you should leave.
Just talking, I think there would be a slight issue with having indoor and outdoor courts. So
especially like on a Monday night, everyone has training as well as on a Tuesday and Thursday. There's 3 games going on, so there's going to be an unlucky team, and they will always flood. It's one of them. The netball courts, as you've probably seen, if it rains, it will flood. So I think that's just something you'd have to consider.
No, I think, again, with the whole, are we going to have outdoor courts or not? And if so, how many would be indoor, how many would be outdoor? Those are all details that definitely need to be addressed, but I don't have the answer right now. It's sort of like, I need to... The way I've planned this is to do it in stages, where I get, get the ideas, get the research done, then I get more backing. With more backing, I can then get get more serious chats and conversations and meetings with head of sports center, with the vice chancellor potentially, anyone else that would have a say in what would actually definitively happen, and then I keep it's sort of like one after the other. Get info, push it a bit. Get more information, push it more, and then eventually it's going to solidify into an actual thing that's going to happen. Yeah.
We also had a concern, obviously, I'm no builder, so how long roughly do these things take to kind of construct? Is it like a overnight thing, or is it like a few months kind of over summer? Just because obviously we've got training, we've got 9 college teams, including 2 uni teams, as well as every other indoor sport, trying to share 4 indoor courts.
Great question. I'll be completely honest, I hadn't considered that yet. In my mind, it's always been sort of a given that this would be constructed between uni years, so over the summer, is how I thought about it. Yeah, I mean, I'll note it down, I'll have to check, which is a great question. But yeah, in my mind, like I said, I think over the summer would be best. Between uni years, you've got 4 months of break between, which is a huge amount of time. Get it right in the center of that, and then that's when the least amount of people will be at the university using these facilities, so that would make the most sense.
Okay, cool. We will go to the middle and then to Savannah.
I feel like the more I talk, the more questions I raise.
I didn't mind, sorry. So you said, was it around 10 years that it lasted?
10 to 15, yes.
10 to 15. Have you considered a more permanent option, perhaps an actual sort of indoor tennis court building?
Yes. So I can. Has everyone read the proposal that I originally sent through? Just like a quick show of hands. Who's actually read it? Right. Did you also read the LTA PDF that was sent along with that? No. Cool. That's fine. I can send that out again, and that's sort of the structure guideline. And then it shows kind of like the price rises exponentially. It's something that could definitely be considered. And again, we'd have to talk it through with whoever's actually in charge of making the decisions of what we build. But the way I presumed that this would be the best solution, and I presumed this would be the solution that the university would be most likely to go for. But I can definitely bring up the fact that, or Emily can bring up the fact that these other alternatives could be considered as well. Yeah.
Yes, obviously, £200,000 for 10 years of something is, makes it quite expensive per year, plus the revenue expenditure of, was it 5 to 15,000 a year?
If you guys give me like a quick second, I can pull up the actual PDF I'm talking about, and I can show you what it says in terms of the single membrane versus double membrane versus an actual structure. I don't know how much time we have, but if you want to, it'd take me like 2-3 minutes. Maybe 1 minute. Yeah?
Yeah, go for
cool.
it.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. This is sort of what the LTA has sent us about low-cost indoor structures and construction options. So this is the one I was talking about. This would be the single-skin transparent membrane hall. Now, again, based off of 4 courts, this would be 200 to 235,000. If we keep going, there's the double-skin transparent membrane air hall, and that would be around 400,000. And again, it would last apparently also 10 or 15 years. Again, we'd have to double check all that. And then the actual like proper framed structures, this wouldn't be, the difference between this and actual hall is it's not a hall. A hall would be, I don't think that makes sense to build a hall for the tennis courts and for the netball courts. But this structure would have a way longer lifespan and be almost, yeah, a million quid. It's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I'm kind of going for more viable alternatives. I think the single membrane structure is the best. Again, I've sort of been going through this by myself, so I think the best course of action for me personally after this is to talk it through with people that have a bit more expertise on this. Like, I've got my own limits. This is as far as I've come, and I'd love to talk it through with everyone else. And all of these considerations you guys have been saying, I'm gonna note them down right after, and I'm gonna follow them up. So whoever is in charge of deciding what will be best, I will have us speak to them. And I'll mention all these 3 options, and then I reckon we'll go from there. But does that answer your question? Cool.
Cool. Yeah, sit down.
Not so much a question, but more of just a comment on this. Seeing as this is a motion to bring a motion to a different body, I don't really see any harm in like approving this as UA, because again, it's not sure that it'll be approved and it's not SU money. It, according to the FTOs, shouldn't affect any SU funding in any way, and as long as that is as long as that's assured, and also for the sports societies, as long as there is something in place to ensure that prices for it don't raise too much, I see no issue with it. Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking in interest of time.
No, you're right. This is sort of like, this UA vote is my first big hurdle, so to speak. And like you said, there's gonna be tons of other like actual meetings and votes it might have to pass through. So, yeah, this is a stepping stone, hopefully, for me to be able to push it more, I don't know, strongly.
Epic. We'll move to a vote. Would anybody like voting to be anonymous, or are you all happy to vote out loud? Speak now. Cool. So yeah, as Sven said, we are voting to basically support this motion as a union, as a group body. So everyone on team yes. I mean, so for approval, raise your hand.
Nice and high.
Nice and high. Oh yeah, if you can't vote, don't vote. We've already gone over that. David, you can't vote.
Put your hand.
Appreciate the support.
Okay, and anyone against? Team no. Cool, and any abstain? Amazing. Thank you very much. 20% to UA. Thank you for answering your questions. Celebrations. Rory, your turn. Agenda item 7 for discussion, reps for the NUS. We've only got 2 more items to go, guys.
I'll give it a go. So, operational member of staff at LUSU like to submit motions to Union Assembly and then assign them to me to make it look like we're doing this legitimately. This time, this operational member of staff is called Frank Longdon.
That's commercially confident.
This year is a National Union of Students election year. Unlike us, they do elections every 2 years. And we need to decide who are... Is it 2? We've got 2 people?
I can jump to explain.
Go for it. On the microphone. Frank on the decks.
Okay, so by midday tomorrow, we need to select the people who are going to elect the NUS England President, the NUS Vice President at Higher Education, and that'll be 3 people from the union. So ideally, I would like 3 names. And we also need to just decide what the approach is for the NUS Liberation and Equality officer role, where we need one rep which represents disabled students, one rep for LGBTQ plus students, one rep for trans students, one rep for racialised students, and one rep for women. We can make some operational assumptions about who those people would be, quite straightforward, but it's easier if you make that decision democratically as democratic representatives than it is for me to do that in a cupboard. Does that make sense?
Can I propose some names and then as the political representative? So landing on that last part first, on our the elections, I think we have, as you say, some clear figures in the union that should take on those roles.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said that it needs a separate.
You said that it needs a separate representative for LGBT, well, for it was queer and also trans separately.
Yeah.
That would need to be two different people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have reps?
We do have many people that can be, yeah. Some of them are here.
So my proposal would be that we go to our liberation groups and basically let you guys assign those within yourselves, likely the most senior figure that fits that bill within your communities.
So do we need to vote that we agree with that plan?
Yes, should we start on that?
Who agrees with Rory's plan? Say, put your hand up now.
Yes.
Team yes. Perfect.
So this is for the most for the liberation officer election, where we need just one for each of those demographics. Which, could you repeat those for us, Frank? What those demographics are?
Disabled, LGBTQ plus, trans, racialised women.
Excellent. So we have forums for all of those, and we will go and find the most senior representative that fits each of those demographics. I think that was.
We need 3 people for the other roles, which is NUS England President and NUS BP Higher Education as well.
Did you see the hands in the room for the previous vote?
It was everyone.
Excellent. Okay, so 3 people for the NUS England
We're not
and.
being the president. To vote for the president, right? So,
That's
that's why you said we're voting on who's NUS president. I was like, oh, we get to vote.
It's you. You know, we need 3 people for NUS England President and NUS Higher Education to vote for those people. We can either go. I think typically you can either go with your FTOs, or we can just kind of pick at random 3 keen people in the room.
Who would like to
Is
be
anyone interested?
sacrificed?
Okay, so we do actually have some interest from student representatives in the room, which. Okay. Is this a legitimate interest? Okay, so I'm looking this way first. I've got an Alex hand, I've got a Sam hand, I've got a Finn hand, a Yasir hand, and a Sunny hand. Anyone behind me interested in being the electors? Do we want to get them up to fight? To hust for it?
Right, that in the union we do not endorse fighting for roles. We have. This is not. It could be live streamed earlier on TV. So just to clarify, if you'd like to nominate yourself for the role, we'll inevitably have to have a vote. Do we want to do short speeches about why, and then does everyone want to do a private vote? Is that how we want to do it?
Do we, before that, do we want to get a sense from the room if we want...
You want an extra vote?
I'm trying. Well, yeah, I know. I'm trying to word this. From the whole room, are we comfortable having not your FTOs vote? This isn't me wanting to vote. This is just me making sure that the room is comfortable with that decision first.
We're voting on whether you all voted.
We're voting first. We're voting first on whether Union Assembly is happy to have randomly elected from Union Assembly.
Sorry. Right. We'll do a vote, right? If you're voting for, you're voting for open nominations, okay? So basically what happened about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
If you vote against, it'll be going to full-time.
Question. Did you say this has to be done
You do it now.
We're doing it now. With our
Okay.
student union.
If you decide to open it, how are you going to have time to decide?
In the room.
Open to the vote that we just had. We've already done it.
Open to union assembly.
So not very open. Okay.
Oh, sorry, yes. Thanks, guys. Thanks, men. I'll go back to it. Oh,
Sorry,
I was just about to vote it then.
Actually, that is actually an important question on that. So, open, is that just to people in the room, or is it specifically UA members?
UA members.
Yeah, I suggest UA members.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can... Okay, everyone for what we just discussed, raise your hand.
So this is for open elections.
Right, man, please.
It's clarifying. I'm clarifying it myself. Okay.
Okay.
We're running under, Karen. We're running under.
Right. So would anyone that wants to do our mini election come to the front?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get the cards out. Okay. Anyone? Yeah. Perfect. Cool. Okay. You've each got a minute to pick. Okay, sorry. Lads, you've each got 30 seconds to tell us. Oi, JCR presidents, listen. You've each got 30 seconds to list why it should be you, who you are, etc. And then we'll go to an anonymous silent vote. Who wants to go first? Oh, see, that's leadership skills. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Right, okay, I'm Alex. I was the president of the University of Lancaster Music Society. Now I just sit on Society's committee, but now that I'm no longer president, I have all of the time in the world and I need to fill it. So this sounds like something cool to do over the next 24 hours, if that. I think democracy is cool, which is why I'm here. I was, until you stood up, the only person who wasn't the president of a college here, so that was a plus, and now it's not. How many seconds have I got? 5. Okay, thank you very much.
Yay!
Right, so I'm Finn. I'm the president of Grad College and I'm also on the sport committee. I think I have a great viewpoint on what students want and need at Lancaster, especially because I've been on an JCR exec for 3 years and a sport exec for 3.5 years. So I think I have a lot of valid experience on why I should be put forward to vote for this. I very much enjoy getting involved with political processes and elections. So yeah, it's something I'm very passionate about and would really value the opportunity.
My name is Jasir. I am currently county president and I am completely free tomorrow. So, and also I've always wanted to get involved in more political things, not just in the university, but also, you know, as like a nation as a whole. I think it'd be really cool to, you know, go there and learn more about it. And also, I just think it's like something to get involved in that's going to be really interesting. I have 10 seconds. What do I say for 10 seconds? What else can I say? I am involved in a couple of societies. You know, democracy is really fun, and also, again, I'm free tomorrow.
Hello, my name's Sunny, Bowden JCR president for the last 2 years and JCR for 3. I'm also co-chair of the Labour Society on campus, so we work quite closely with the NUS. So I'm very well aware of who they are, what they do, and the processes around democracy within the National Union of Students. I want to go because I like politics, and as you know, I can be quite passionate on issues, so I'm more than happy to shout at people. Regarding the election of president, I also want to steer the NUS away from voting for certain candidates. There's one who shared anti-Semitic comments on their story on Instagram, so I want to make sure that we're not voting for people like that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sam. The first thing I'll say is that I think we should have a diverse representation, and the thing that strikes me is that everyone else on this line is male presenting, so I think that's something we should bear in mind. Another thing is I looked into the NUS quite a lot during the FGO elections, and it was something that I was really interested in sort of finding out more about, looking at who actually does represent us and whether that aligns with Lancaster's values. So yeah, I think I don't know. Sorry, run out of time.
Okay. Do I need to write everyone's names down?
I've made a form.
Wow. That was very good on the fly, guys. Well done.
Also, it's almost if in a room full of people who run elections in their own groups. It's great. I think you can sit down. Are we doing questions?
Nah, we're not.
Well,
first
okay.
us to move on to the next agenda item.
No. The voting link is in the Teams area. I will pull the QR code up. If you're struggling, I can send it to you directly. You need to go in there, put your name, so they know you're not an interloper, and vote for your three. Okay, vote for your three favourite candidates. Candidates, you can vote for yourselves, or you get a vote as well. Anyone's got any questions about the voting system? Please come and ask.
For reference, the vote is not tomorrow. We just have to submit our reps by tomorrow.
I will submit it tomorrow. Yes. It's nice that they're free.
It's in the UA. Yes,
It's in the UA Teams area, the link to the form to vote, if you can't find it. It's not anonymous vote because you're making name, but it's anonymous for everyone else in the room, Rory. You've got 3 minutes to get your vote in, or you lose your voting privileges. Get them in. You've got 3 minutes. Get them in.
It's the most engaged anyone's been in the US
The QR code is on the screen if you can't find it in the Teams channel. Only vote if you're allowed to vote. Trying to announce the result later. At what point do we close the vote? 3 minutes? Six. Cool.
Emily, have you voted for your job? You're allowed to. You're allowed to.
People's arms have been up and down at this point. Do we announce the results in the room right now?
Right, who's not voted? Frank's missing one person. Who is it? Sorry. Oh, Proxy.
I'm okay, honestly. I don't barely even know anyone, so it's like, it's probably
Don't tell Frank that, he'll cry because he loves democracy. He loves voting.
I'll send it to you now.
It's on the screen. Yeah, no, you're here for a proxy. Get in there.
You know about as much as literally everyone else in the room about this.
Just pick your favourite 3 names. Welcome to UA, everyone.
We are informed students.
Okay, while Frank's calculating the results, we move on to the next and last official item on the agenda, and it's your friend and mine, Rory.
Once again, Frank's given me this item. I don't need the paper up. This is a bit of fun. We've got 2 rooms in Lusu that used to be offices or a storage room. One was the archive room, which was just full of bits of paper that were our financial accounts before the internet existed. And one was the finance office upstairs, which now we've freed them from their cage. That is now just an empty room. And we thought it would be nice to give UA the opportunity to name both the rooms. So, for reference, the ex-finance office is like a bit of a glass room. It's a small square. It can fit probably 4 to 6 people in, whereas the archive room is next to the boardroom if you've ever been upstairs in Lusu, and it can fit probably up to 10 to 15 people in it. I'm open to suggestions. If you just want to say a name, that's fine. But if you could say a name and allocate it to a room, that's even better. Then.
I think that the one next to the boardroom that was the archive should instead be called the boardroom with an OIE.
Okay, so for the benefit of the camera, Sven wants to name the archive room the boardroom, but bored as though you guys are when I talk, rather than bored like a surfboard. Finn. Sorry. I'm getting too excited.
Roomy McRoomface.
Roomy McRoomface. Which one do you want Roomy McRoomface?
The old archive room.
Can someone, if Frank's counting votes, can someone take notes? Next.
Oh, honestly, Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes, Leah.
The Carrie Smith room.
Oh, I'm fucking
Carrie Smith room.
Hopefully dogs on your age.
Which room would you like that to be?
Which room do you feel most kinship with?
I think the finance office carries. Any more?
What the heck? Give me the microphone. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes.
Could we have one that's just called like the LCO room, so we can run away from these nasty dogs?
I fully back that. Yeah, and I have no power authority.
LCO room.
Yes.
Just like conference room A and conference room B.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. That's pretty fun. Yes.
Conference room B, conference room D.
Right, yeah,
Just
cool.
confuse everyone.
Yes.
How about Lutheran, but spelled backwards?
It's a room.
Great idea. That's actually such a
Frank, have you been writing this down?
Anybody else? See a chance. We're now in hysterics. Have you got any? No? Also, do we get to should we vote on which one we like the most? Frank, can we do that?
I mean, I would really like to know how people want us to get students' ideas. Your ideas are lovely. But
Okay.
I think, you know, it'd be like nice to know some others.
Frank would like a democratic process. Who has the best idea for a democratic process?
Should we vote on it?
Yes, Sven.
So, Frank has already spoken today against violence, but
I like where this is going.
okay, whoever wins, like King of the Hill style for each of them gets to name them.
Yeah, nice. Why don't we let Steve Deason do it? It's like a peace offering. You know, but like we let him, let him play for a bit.
He gets to name every other room at the university.
Yeah, Sam. Go on, Seb.
I'm not repeating this. I can share it. Wait, you want to? Okay. Right. Mr. Beast style. Last person to take their hand off it wins.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, Frank, I like that one. Do you?
Yeah, I'll write that down.
I think people cared about the salt trucks more than the generator.
But how do we do it?
So are we thinking whole population students vote?
A referendum.
I don't know. What are you asking me? Frank, what are you hoping for someone to say? Then I can make them say it.
I think we should get the rooms to hust.
Yeah, amen. So we're going to go with room dates. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, biggest donation win.
Oh.
Does it have to be a donation directly from us, or can I lobby the government? Okay.
So we're now suggesting a fundraiser for the biggest patron for our meeting rooms.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Frank, are you happy? Can I move on? Well, he shook his head. So yes or no? Are you happy? Can we move on? Cool. Okay, cool. Any other business?
Can I confirm what's been decided?
Oh my God, sit down.
Read the minutes, man. They'll figure it out. What we've decided is we don't know.
What's wrong with just leaving it as it is? Archive room and finance office.
Party.
I think the only thing we've decided today is that's not an option.
No, we're going to do a democratic process.
No, he said I couldn't do it. Okay, sorry. Any other business? Henry,
Hi everyone, I'm going to be really quick because we want to go home, especially Frank. I am political rep of the accessibility community. Next to me is another member of our executive committee. We have rehashed our terms of reference, our constitution. For any significant changes, we're required to give our own ratification and that of the Union Assembly. We ratified it yesterday, and I managed to get it to everyone at exactly midnight. Sorry if you hadn't had time to read it. Anyone has any questions, please and quickly, and then we can vote and then we can all go home.
It's just a very simple question, because I'm happy, provided it has gone through the due process of the group, which I presume it has. Yes, excellent. In which case it's got my favour.
Any other questions about it? Brilliant. Do you want an anonymous vote or do you want a public vote? Public vote, perfect. Team yes, put your hand up. I mean, for approval. Is this getting minuted? Oh my god.
And live stream.
I'm pretty certain that's unanimous.
The live stream's still running.
Amazing. Everything you need?
Thank you very much.
Cool. Any other business? Yes, Sonny.
It's just a quick question for Rory. It's not. I didn't.
No such thing exists.
It's nothing controversial. It's not controversial. We had the consultant in. Will the report and/or what the SU is going to do in light of the report be presented to UA at some point?
Yes. Whether it's a redacted report depends on how much he names you as an individual in his report. But no, we will bring it to, that's confusing. Yes, we will bring it to UA in some capacity, so you can see where our money has gone.
All good, Sonny? No, perfect. Any other business? Yay! Meeting ended, let's all go home! Oh, no, sorry, the result! Sorry.
I've not had time to do it yet, so I'll send it around later.
He'll send the result later, goodbye everyone, see you later!